In this video, we're going to talk about how to deal with anxious thoughts, and I'm going to share with you my step-by-step guide on how to stop obsessive worrying. Hi, I'm Simona, a certified life coach and author of the book 111 Ways to Simplify Your Life. I upload educational videos on personal development, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it to get notified when I upload a new video. Now, before we get into my step-by-step guide on how to deal with anxious thoughts, I want to take a moment and explain the link between anxious thoughts and obsessive thinking, and where they actually come from. Although we're going to focus on how to cope with generalized anxiety in this video, keep in mind that anxious thoughts and obsessive worrying can be related to one or more of the following: panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, generalized anxiety, social anxiety disorder, specific phobia, health anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, or acute stress disorder. Now, let's talk about obsessive worrying. We all know that the longer we spend obsessing over something, the deeper and deeper we get into it. It's like a negative spiral. The more you feel anxious, the more you worry. And the more you worry, the more you get anxious. Generally speaking, anxiety tends to be future-oriented, and it's centered on things that we worried about happening that have not yet happened. As someone who's battled with anxiety and panic attacks for years, I can tell you one thing for sure: you can beat it. You're stronger than it. You just need the right system. And that's exactly what I'm going to share with you in this video, my 6-step framework to deal with anxious thoughts and stop obsessive worrying. So let's get into my first tip. Understand how your anxious mind works. When we talk about the anxious mind, we need to become familiar with the entire process of obsessive worrying and the 4 stages that we go through. Let's start with identifying the trigger, which is to identify what upset us in this particular situation. Here are some helpful questions to identify the trigger. 1. What happened? 2. Were you alone, or were there other people around? 3. What did they say or do? The second thing we're going to look at are the thoughts that started going through your head. Ask yourself the following questions. 1. What did you think about? 2. Were there certain phrases or scary thoughts that you can recall? 3. Did you start visualizing the worst-case scenario happening? And the third step is to realize that your body went into fight or flight mode, which means your body started preparing for possible imminent danger, which led to faster breathing, accelerated heart rate, etc. Now we're going to get clear about your emotions. Ask yourself the following questions. 1. What emotions did you feel at the time? 2. What was the intensity of each one of these emotions on the scale of 1 to 10? 3. What physical sensations did you experience as a result of them? And the last step in the anxiety cycle is becoming aware of the action you decided to take, also known as the maladaptive behavior, and choosing an alternative behavior. Ask yourself these questions to understand yourself better. 1. What actions did you take as a result of your anxiety? 2. What could you have done differently? 3. How can you respond better in the future? What I just did was walk you through one of the most effective tools I use with my clients, called the Automatic Thought Record tool. I've made a free copy of it, so you can download it by clicking the first link in the description box below or visiting bit.ly/thoughtrecordtool. Now that we've learned how your anxious mind works, let's get into tip number 2. Explore the possible scenarios in this situation. When we're dealing with anxious thoughts and obsessive worrying, we're often catastrophizing, which means we are picturing the worst-case scenario. Here's a quick example of catastrophizing. Not having a good night's sleep before an exam may cause us to assume that we will fail the exam. Now, what are the possible scenarios in any given situation? For the purposes of this exercise, we will examine 3 of them: the worst-case scenario, the best-case scenario, and the most likely scenario. If you're struggling with anxious thoughts at the moment, you've probably run through the worst-case scenario multiple times, right? Yep, I'm calling you out. I've done that numerous times in the past. So let's call the worst-case scenario the horror movie. The second one is the best case scenario. Love, light, and unicorns. Although I'm a warrior at mind, I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. So let's call this the romantic comedy. And the third possible scenario is the most likely to happen scenario, which is the closest one to reality. The one that has a high chance of happening. So let's call it the documentary. Here's how we can use these three scenarios anytime our mind is racing. Write down each one of these scenarios and the likelihood of them happening. More often, the worst case and best case scenarios will have a fairly low probability, 5% or less chance, while the most likely scenarios will have a higher probability, 30% or higher. I also like to call the most likely scenario the gray zone, since not everything is black or white, and most of our lives happen in the gray zone. Now you might be thinking, but what if the worst case scenario has a high chance of happening? We're talking about 40% or more. Well, if you think that's the case, it's time to develop a just-in-case strategy. This will put your mind at ease and help you come up with a creative solution to your problem. Here's how you can go about it. Write down everything you can do if the worst-case scenario happens. Write down as much as you can until you reach the point of no control, meaning you realize that you have absolutely no control over the situation from there on. And the last thing you can do is let go. Now, if you're doubting yourself all the time, that means that your anxiety may be caused by having low self-esteem. If that's the case, make sure to watch my video on how to build self-confidence after this one. I will link it below. Now let's get into the next step. Meditate or try out deep breathing exercises. We all know the benefits of meditation, so I'm not gonna get into it now. If you're curious to learn what happened after I meditated for 1000 days straight, listen to episode 55 from the Simplify Your Life podcast. I will leave a link below. The truth is, meditation is deeply personal. Some people prefer guided meditations and use apps like Headspace. Others sit in silence and simply observe their thoughts from a distance, or listen to soft music and focus on their breath. If you're new to meditation, I've linked some helpful guided meditations for you, plus my favorite exercises for calming down anxiety. So take a look at the description box below if you want to learn more. But for the purposes of this video, I want to share with you one of the easiest deep breathing exercises I know that will definitely help you stop obsessive worrying and tune into your body instead. When you do this exercise, make sure you're not driving. Other than that, you can try this exercise pretty much anywhere, as long as you know you won't be disturbed for a few minutes. This exercise is called the 4-7-8 technique, and it goes like this. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7 seconds, and breathe out for 8 seconds. Now that you know how to practice deep breathing and you have an entire playlist with guided meditations and grounding techniques, let's get into tip number 4. Break the pattern. What do I mean by this? When you're obsessively worrying, your mind is focused on all the bad things that could potentially happen. So we need to break the pattern by shifting your focus onto something else. Here are a few suggestions to break the pattern. Number 1. Find an alternative positive obsession. An example of positive obsession is to do a crossword puzzle, start drawing, writing, or anything else that will get you involved and distract you from your busy, anxious mind. 2. Move your body. Dance to your favorite music, exercise, do some light yoga. And if you feel too anxious to do any of these exercises, simply take a walk. Or do something physical, such as cooking, cleaning, washing the dishes, whatever works for you. 3. Watch something funny. Comedy is the best remedy. Pick an episode of your favorite TV show or watch something funny on YouTube. 4. Call someone you love and be genuinely interested in what they're saying. If you're feeling anxious, that means that you're too focused on your own problems. And talking to someone else about what you're going through will help you calm down and be present. Now, let's get into tip number 5. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is all about centering yourself into the present moment and observing your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings objectively and non-judgmentally. There are many mindfulness techniques you can try, but I'm going to share with you one of my favorites. It's called the 5-4-3-2-1 method. It goes like this. Acknowledge 5 things you can see around you, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and finally, 1 thing you can taste. The purpose of this exercise is to shift your focus from your anxious thoughts to what's actually happening in the present moment. If you want to try out 7 more exercises for calming down anxiety, just listen to episode 71 after this one. I will leave a link below. Tip number 6 is to find your N to D ratio. What do I mean by this? N stands for the nourishing activities that bring you joy and give you energy, such as spending quality time with your partner, taking a long relaxing bath, or sipping up a cup of hot cocoa. And D stands for the depleting activities that are draining your energy and making you feel anxious, worried, and exhausted. Examples of depleting activities may be spending time with toxic people, trying to do too many things at once, or working a job you hate. Now, your N to D ratio is essentially what percentage of your day do you spend on nourishing activities versus depleting activities. One of the possible reasons for feeling anxious may be that you're mainly involved in activities that drain you mentally and physically, and you simply need to recharge your batteries. Here are some helpful questions you can ask yourself to determine what your N-D ratio is. 1. How many nourishing activities and how many depleting activities do you engage in during your work week? 2. How about your weekend? 3. Which of these activities can you change? 4. How can you incorporate more nourishing activities into your daily life? 5. What is one nourishing activity you can commit to doing today? Anxiety depletes us of our energy. It makes us question everything. Even the things that we once enjoyed doing get lost in the way because we're too obsessed with our thoughts and we can't even see them anymore. You can't take good care of yourself if you're constantly anxious. And when you don't take good care of yourself, that leads to even more anxiety. So what is the solution? To understand the body-mind connection and have the right tools to break the vicious cycle of worrying. It's one of the many things I teach in my signature online program for women. Enrollment is currently closed, but it's going to open again in a few months. So if you're interested in mastering your mindset, crushing your self-doubt, and leaving limiting beliefs in the past, make sure to sign up for the waitlist at coachsimona.com/waitlist. The exercises I shared in this video are just a glimpse into one of the modules in this program. And I'm so excited to guide you through the entire transformation of becoming abundantly confident by being unapologetically you. So make sure to sign up for the waitlist at coachsimona.com/waitlist. So far in this video, we talked about how to deal with anxious thoughts and how to stop obsessive worrying. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Because in the next video, we're going to talk about how to empower yourself as a woman and take your power back. In the meantime, make sure to check out these 2 videos next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.